In the heart of Willow Creek Estates, a suburban enclave of manicured lawns and identical beige mansions, Jake Harlan's backyard stood as a quiet rebellion against conformity. For 3 years, Jake, a rugged man in his early 40s with calloused hands and a flannel shirt that smelled faintly of earth and motor oil, had transformed his modest plot into a thriving miniature farm. Rows of golden cornstalks swayed under the autumn sun of September 2025, their tassels whispering secrets of a bountiful harvest. Jake, a mechanic by trade but a farmer by heart, had poured his soul into this patch of earth, defying the Homeowners Association's ironclad covenants that banned anything deemed unsightly or agricultural. His wife, Sarah, a pragmatic woman in her late 30s with a ponytail and a quick smile, supported his endeavor, though she often warned him about the watchful eyes of their neighbors. Their 8-year-old son, Timmy, saw the cornfield as a magical jungle, where he'd raced through the stalks with his toy tractor, dreaming of being a farmer like his dad. To Jake, the corn was more than food. It was a statement, a middle finger to the HOA's suffocating rules, and a promise of self-sufficiency in a world obsessed with appearances. Across the cedar fence, Karen Pritchard, the self-anointed queen of Willow Creek's hoe, simmered with righteous fury. At 52, Karen was a walking stereotype of suburban authority. Her blonde bob was always perfectly coiffed, her yoga pants pristine, and her visor sported an HOA badge that gleamed like a sheriff's star. Her life revolved around enforcing the neighborhood's covenants, a 47-page document she could recite verbatim. To Karen, Jake's cornfield was an abomination, a blight on the uniformity of Willow Creek's aesthetic. She'd issued him 2 citations already, each ignored with a polite but firm nod from Jake, who'd mutter, "It's my land." Karen, her calls to the HOA board went now eerie. The president, a laid-back retiree named Carl, had a soft spot for Jake's defiance. Frustrated, Karen's resentment festered, her daily jogs past Jake's property turning into reconnaissance missions. She'd snap photos of the corn, muttering about property values and community standards to her group chat of fellow HOA enforcers, a clique dubbed the Willow Watchdogs. By late September, with Jake's harvest ready to pick, Karen's patience snapped like a dry twig. The plan formed in a moment of reckless spite. On a crisp Tuesday morning, with the neighborhood quiet save for the distant hum of a lawnmower, Karen stood in her pristine kitchen, sipping a kale smoothie and staring at Jake's corn through her blinds. The stalks mocked her, their golden ears a symbol of everything she couldn't control. She'd warned him, hadn't she? 2 citations, 3 emails, and a heated exchange at the last HOA meeting where Jake had the gall to laugh off her complaints. "It's just corn, Karen," he'd said, his drawl infuriatingly calm. "Feedin' my family, not hurtin' yours." The memory burned hotter than her smoothie's Colin kick. She rifled through her garage, finding a lighter and a crumpled McDonald's napkin from her secret late-night fries run. A can of lighter fluid, tucked behind her husband's unused golf clubs, caught her eye. Karen wasn't a criminal, she was a protector of order, she told herself. But order required sacrifice. Slipping on gloves to avoid evidence, she doused the napkin, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. She checked her phone, 9:17 a.m. Jake was at work, Sarah at the grocery store, Timmy at school. The neighborhood was asleep. It was now or never. Under the cover of her hedges, Karen crawled beneath the fence, her yoga pants snagging on a splinter. The corn loomed over her, taller than she'd realized, their leaves rustling like a jury passing judgment. She knelt at the base of a row, flicked the lighter, and touched the flame to the napkin. The fire caught instantly, a small orange tongue licking the dry husks. "This'll teach him," she whispered, tossing the burning napkin deeper into the rows. The flame spread faster than she'd expected, fueled by the autumn breeze and the stalk's brittle dryness. Smoke curled upward, thick and acrid, carrying the sweet scent of burning corn. Karen scrambled back under the fence, her pulse racing, a triumphant smirk tugging at her lips. She'd done it. Willow Creek would be restored to its pristine glory. But as she dusted off her knees and slipped back into her house, a gust of wind roared through the subdivision, and the fire leapt beyond the corn, licking at Jake's wooden shed. Her smirk vanished. This wasn't part of the plan. Jake was at the auto shop, elbow deep in a Chevy's engine, when his phone buzzed with a neighbor's text. Fire in your yard. He dropped his wrench, hard slamming against his ribs. He sped home, his pickup screeching into Willow Creek just as fire trucks roared into the cul-de-sac. Sarah was already there, clutching Timmy, who'd been picked up early from school after the principal saw the smoke. Jake leapt from the truck, his eyes locking on the inferno devouring his cornfield. Flames danced 6 feet high, blackening the stalks he'd nurtured since spring. The shed was smoldering, its paint bubbling, but the house seemed sapphire for now. "Get back!" shouted Mike, a burly firefighter from Station 7, as his team unleashed hoses on the blaze. Jake grabbed a garden hose, spraying futilely at the edges, his face a mask of rage and grief. Sarah pulled Timmy close, whispering, "It's okay, baby," though her voice shook. Neighbors gathered, some filming with their phones, others whispering about that crazy farmer guy. Jake's eyes scanned the crowd, landing on Karen's house. Her blinds twitched. He knew. Karen watched from her kitchen, her smoothie abandoned, her hands trembling as she peeked through the slats. The fire was out of control. How had it spread so fast? She'd only meant to burn a few rows, enough to scare Jake into compliance. Now, 3 fire trucks blocked the street, their lights painting her walls red and blue. Her phone buzzed incessantly, a whole group chat blowing up. "Arson," texted Linda. "Who'd do this?" Karen typed back, fingers fumbling. Probably Jake's fault. Faulty equipment. But her stomach churned. She smelled smoke on her gloves, realized she hadn't ditched the lighter. A sharp knock at the door nearly made her drop her phone. She cracked it open to find Mike and Lisa, a sharp-eyed firefighter with a tablet, standing on her porch. Behind them, Jake stood with Sarah, his arms crossed, his gaze boring into her like a drill. "Ma'am, we're canvassing for witnesses," Lisa said, her tone professional but piercing. "You live next door. See anything suspicious?" "We found traces of accelerant to lighter fluid. Likely, this wasn't an accident." Karen's mouth went dry. She forced a smile, her voice pitching high. "Oh, no. I was on a Zoom yoga class all morning. That corn was probably a fire hazard, right? All those weeds." Mike's nose twitched. He smelled smoke, faint but unmistakable, on her clothes. He glanced at Lisa, who tapped her tablet, pulling up a preliminary report. "Can we see your hands?" Mike asked. "Got some charred fibers at the scene." Karen's mind raced, a flashback to the lighter in her pocket, the napkin's singed edges. She slammed the door, but Mike's boot wedged it open. "This is harassment," she shrieked, her composure crumbling. "I'm HOA Vice President. You can't just barge in." "I was protecting our community. That corn was illegal." Her voice broke, a confession spilling out in her panic. Jake stepped forward, holding up his phone. "Might wanna see this, Mike," he said, his drawl steady but laced with fury. He played a grainy clip from his shed's dashcam, installed after Karen's last citation. It showed a figurine unmistakably Karen, visor and all, slipping under the fence, lighter in hand. The firefighters exchanged a look. Lisa radioed for backup, and within minutes, 2 cops arrived, their cruiser's lights adding to the chaos. Karen's world collapsed. She grabbed her phone, dialing her lawyer, but got voicemail. "It was an accident," she wailed, sinking onto her couch, surrounded by HOA trophies that now seemed like relics of a fallen empire. "The wind, I just wanted it gone." "For aesthetics." Lisa cuffed her gently, reading her rights. "Arson, ma'am," and false statements to first responders. As they led her out, Karen saw Timmy waving a scorched corn ear, a cheeky grin on his face. She screamed, a final, pathetic wail that echoed through Willow Creek. By evening, the fire was out, the cornfield a blackened ruin, but the house and shed were spared. Neighbors lingered, some offering Jake's sympathy, others gossiping about Karen's downfall. Jake shook Mike's hand, promising beers at the next barbecue. Sarah hugged him, whispering, "We'll replant." Timmy clutched his toy tractor, vowing to grow 1,000,000 corns next year. As Karen's SUV, complete with its HOA Patrol bumper sticker, was towed away, Jake surveyed the charred rows. One stalk, miraculously, stood tall, a single ear glinting in the fading light. He plucked it, handing it to Timmy. "This one's for us," he said. The neighborhood settled into quiet, the air still heavy with smoke, but lighter without Karen's rain. Willow Creek would never be the same.